When did Tupac find out that the house in Woodland Hills, California wasn't in his name? And how did he react? He was livid. We exposed that with audio and other lies told with documentation. Let's get into some of this straight game. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. And I choose to play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button as it helps the content to be pushed out to more potential subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yourself, please do so. Very much appreciated, and tell a friend. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you this. Who name was the house in Woodland Hills that Death Row or Suge Knight allegedly bought for Tupac? This house. Who name was that house in? If any of you may know. You probably don't. I got a revelation that's unbelievable. And I'm going to show you how people can manipulate you into believing whatever they want you to believe, because they know that you won't really focus on the substance of the matter, but rather the glorification of who they are and what they want you to believe. But if you focus on the substance of the matter, you're going to get it. So, Gullible John, in about 10 years ago, and this goes into what him and Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. have been doing as of late, promoting lies, promoting false narratives, in order to make themselves seem more important in Tupac's life and to the death row situation overall. Not only more important, but more knowledgeable. I'm going to reveal something today, man. This video right here needs to be pushed out, and you guys need to pay attention. This is exclusive. And I don't mean exclusive as if it's the first time it's been said, but exclusive as to how I'm going to put it together for you and the new information that will be revealed based on me doing this, right? So 10 years ago, Gullible John over at Bomb First did an interview with Kevin Hackie. Kevin Hackie was one of the security guards who we later found out was working as an FBI informant and them investigating death row for various activities, right? Right. In this particular interview, Gullible John seems to be much younger, of course, asked Kevin Hackie, when did he notice that Tupac was not happy being with Death Row? I want you to hear what Kevin Hackie had to say. Listen.
I would say March or either April of 1996, went to the Shrine Auditorium. I think it was either the Grammys or American Music Awards. And at that time, you could tell that there was tension starting to build up. We had just finished shooting, not getting related, but I can't think of the other movie prior to that.
Gridlock?
Gridlock.
Yeah.
Finished shooting Gridlock. And, the arguments. I mean, yeah, you know, Tupac would have things to say, Suge would have things to say, but, you know, I think for the most part, after everybody got everything off their chest, things are just going to calm down and basically calm down on their own. I mean, at no time whatsoever that neither him or Suge ever exchanged any type of blows or anything.
Okay, it never got that far.
That never happened.
Okay, and did you ever have any actual conversations with Tupac about like him not being happy, or is it just something that you saw from everything that's going on?
We started having conversations in July and August and September of 1996. He was planning to leave death row, and he says, look, you know, you come work for me, this and that, I'm only going to take two guys, probably you and Frank, and based upon, you know, all eyes on me, I think within 90 days went 6 times platinum. So of course, I mean, you can start
That's about it's about $60 million in retail.
No, death row grossed $150 million in
God.
days, and I think at that time his cut was like $7 or $8 million. So it's just like that was, of course, the house in Woodland Hills wasn't in his name. The condo in Wilshire wasn't his name. The only cars that he actually owned was a Jaguar, which was a promo thing him and Snoop did when he first got out. Remember St. Ides beer?
Yeah.
But they gave him a Jaguar and the Hummer. All the other stuff was all leased to the company.
Voila. You get it? First off, as of recent, Gullible John and Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. have perpetuated and lied and said that, well, Reggie said that he never knew that Tupac wanted to leave Death Row. Tupac was always happy with Death Row. This is the security guard in Kevin Hackie, right? Who was supposedly the first person to be on Tupac's main bodyguard, according to Kevin Hackie, and all of these other things. Saying this, right? Number one, that the house in Woodland Hills wasn't in Tupac's name, but was, in fact, in Suge Knight's ex-wife's name, Sharitha Knight, and some other corporation. Also, the condo on Wilshire was also not in Tupac's name, right? Right? Was in somebody else's name. But the thing that Kevin Hackie revealed, he said in and about September, August, is that Tupac told him that he was going to leave Death Row. The same thing basically that Frank Alexander had said. And then Kevin Hackie basically saying that, well, Tupac said he was going to leave Death Row and he was going to take about two of us security guys with him. And that was going to be Frank Alexander, and Kevin Hackie said it was going to be him at that particular time. Because I don't think Tupac knew that Kevin Hackie was working undercover for the FBI at that particular time, right? So now, you got to ask yourself a question. Did Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. know this? Of course he did. Of course he did. That's why now you understand why in August 27th, Tupac wrote the letter, or got Yasmin to write the letter, firing Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. You get it now? The cold part about the game is this. Gullible John knew this 10 years ago, but yet kept on trying to perpetuate the lie and let Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. Cultivate this narrative as if Tupac was happy, as if everything was all right, and he knew nothing about it. So much so that Gullible John even interviewed Frank Alexander. And Frank Alexander said the same exact thing. So John already knew. But what he needed was somebody to continue these elaborate lies and stories. And who better than Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.? You wonder why I call Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. I'm just going to give you an example of one video. This one right here. Look at the title. That was unnecessary. We didn't need to know that. Right? But yet, in wanting to tell all, right? He should have wrote a book. That's why I call him that, among other reasons. But back to these facts. So now, Tupac was little bro and all of these things. And like I said, once again, Tupac, you know, from what I understand, he was initially told that the house in Woodland Hills was his. But he found out in April, according to Kevin Hackie, that it wasn't. Then the accounting, then the record sales, and the money that he was supposed to be receiving, he didn't receive. Right? So then Kevin Hackie said that Tupac was ready to leave Death Row. Now, mind you, shortly after that, Gullible John then does an interview with Frank Alexander. And when Frank Alexander proposes the same thing, right? Gullible John then tries to come up with this narrative about what people say, when he didn't challenge Kevin Hackie at all. When Kevin Hackie said it. See, that begins the cultivation of the lies and trying to get people, because if we say that and we understand that and we believe that from the people who were there, Kevin Hackie and Frank Alexander, then there's nothing else to talk about. But if we begin to say, well, no, you know, because, you know, Tupac was this and he was happy and, you know, Death Row East and all of these other little narratives that people can then try to come in with, throwing you off of the path of the truth and the facts, then they now have some new narrative to continue this conversation when there really was none. Hence the reason they got mad when I came out and I talked about and brung out the actual bail agreement showing that Tupac wasn't signed to Death Row. And so then began the attacks on me, which quickly stopped based on the truth and fact that they couldn't handle. You can come up with all the lies in the world, but the truth gonna get you. Yeah. Especially when it comes with documentation. You can get a few laughs, you know, right now, you know, in the immediate future. But the truth gonna stand tall. Listen. So now, did you know that Tupac's house was in Suge's ex-wife's name? Some of you may have, and some of you may haven't. But it's eye-opening. Because Tupac was supposed to be like, you know, a little brother. Right? But I got something else for you. Herein lies the reason that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. would then try to speak highly of the young lady by the name of Molly, and saying that Yasmin, Yaki Gaddafi's mom, Tupac's godmother, was then fired and then replaced by Molly. I'm going to show you documentation where that's not true. Listen to this. Check this out. I'm going to show you that he was lying to try to gain favor with the people who are now in charge of the estate. Right? Listen to this. These are facts. Remember, you know, Yasmin was fired and, you know, Molly was hired because Afeni, knew Molly and she was trusted by Molly and so on and so forth and this, that, and the other, right? That was manipulation. That was what they call brown nosing, you know. And so if I call and I get something, you know, they can send me those plaques that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. See, the plaques got sent over, you know what I mean? Because he spoke favorably, but that was the brown nose move. I'm gonna give it to you right now. Check this out. Listen to this. You ready? And I'm gonna show you how Molly and Yasmin work hand in hand. This is the RICO accusation, or should I say allegation in the lawsuit that Afeni filed. And listen, it says, paragraph B, in furtherance thereof, on a monthly or bi-monthly basis commencing on or about December 1995 and proceeding through at least June 1996, at the direction of Knight, Kenner, Cantrock, and Anderson, two employees of Tupac, Yasmin and Molly, they work side by side, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. had you believe that somehow Yasmin was fired and Molly was replaced by Yasmin for some nefarious reason that he couldn't explain. We know now that was a lie. Listen. Caused proposed budgets to be sent by fax and by mail to death row, which basically states that there is proof that they both work side by side based on faxes and mail sent to death row, wherein Tupac requested the release of his monies for the operation of his businesses. In each instance, Knights, Kenner, Cantrock, and Anderson, right, called on the telephone, faxed and mailed back refusals to release said funds, false citing as the reason, therefore, both the failure of the budget to include all items of expense, such as missing car payments, and the claim that no net monies were due from death row to Tupac. In truth, the reason the monies were not released was because they were being misappropriated by Knight, Kenner, Anderson, using Death Row Enterprise as their cover for their misappropriations. It was all a lie to get you to believe something that wasn't true, only to the benefit or the hopeful benefit of Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. and Gullible John. When in fact, 10 years ago, Gullible John did the interview with Kevin Hackie and he knew the truth. But yet, should I say the non-benefit of his better judgment, he chose to go with the lies. As you've seen, they've garnered a many of views and a many of subscribers. But it was all a lie. And they knew that you wouldn't know about it because you wouldn't do the research. What did Kevin Hackie say? Tupac found out in April that the Woodland Hills house was not in his name and he was livid. That the people, when he did the movie Gridlock, wanted to basically work with him but wanted nothing to do with Suge Knight. They had big plans for him. Right? Once again, euthanasia, Yasmin, office manager, Molly was around at that particular time. You know, and like I said, the only reason why Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. would speak favorably and highly of Molly is because of manipulation. That we call it brown nosing. I could call it something else, but I don't want to speak that language, right? You get it? So all of it was a lie. Yasmin didn't get fired and Molly replaced her. Yasmin was around when Tupac was alive. It says in June from December 1995 and proceeding through at least June of 1996. But he made it seem like as if, you know, Molly was highly favored by Feeney when Molly was in fact around when Tupac was alive. You see the manipulation tactic, right? See, but you don't know that, but today you do. I'm going to keep on bringing you the straight game. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.